tier list video, I thought I'd do a little meme as well, you know, just because I can. Now, this tier list is people who I'd like to talk to. And we go from I really want to talk to this person to that'd be cool to to be right there to like you can come over to like don't try me. Everyone would be better than you. Press F in chat. And well, yeah. So we got a couple of people here. We got Abraham Lincoln. We got Adolf Hitler. We've got Hoffman. We've got Catherine the Great, Charles Darwin, David Schwimmer, Gary Gygax, this dude whose name I always forget, Stalin, Julius, Kitty Boy, Otto von Bismarck, my parents, Shaka Zulu, that one gay dude, this guy, Winston Churchill, Wilbur Ockels, and Einstein. My German is not the best. Well, let's start at the bottom, you know, as any good tier list would, and I'll explain every single one when we are there. So, in the fuck off category, we only have one person. Those are my parents. They can fuck off. I don't want to talk to them. Now, that was a quick, easy one. Now, why are they lower than everybody else? Well, everybody else on this list has like at least something interesting to say, whilst my parents are like not that interesting. This may be influenced by the fact that I spend every single day with them, and yeah, that sort of makes it so that we don't really have a lot to talk to. So I'd rather not talk to them in total. I think that is sort of the reason. Now, this was like a heavy debate, like to put someone in F tier, yes or no, because F tier, you know, that's on the lower side, you know, that's like not that good. And don't forget, these are not like I have like people I'd like to talk even less to, but yeah, that's not what this is about. Because like these are just like a couple of famous people I thought up on the spot. Now, in F tier, I had a really hard time with this, but I decided to place one person in F tier just for, you know, filling up the tiers. And okay, this is gonna get some people mad. That's gonna be Freddie Mercury. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, I like his music, I like his style, but in terms of like this whole list, if I had to pick someone to just go, then it'd be him. Now, if this was like a people whose concert I'd like to attend, you know, he'd be like way up there. But together with my parents, I would fucking love to see that. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a matter of someone had to be there, and in this case, it's Freddie. Now in E tier, we got quite a few people in E tier. Don't get me wrong. So in E tier, we have Abraham Lincoln. Now, I'm not American, so you know I don't really care too much. You know, he's done some cool shit. You know, I'd like to have a conversation with him if I had the chance, but it's not like on my priority list, basically. Like, if I had a time machine right now, he would not be the first person I visit. That's all I'm saying. Now, we don't have anybody else in E tier. Now, in D tier, that's where it gets interesting. In D tier, we have two people. We've got Julius Caesar. First of all, because I don't think we'd be able to communicate in the same language, so that makes having a conversation kind of difficult. And this guy. And this, the right side is lower, just so you know. This dude, yeah, like, whilst it's, like, cool to say, like, oh, yeah, you know, what you gonna do this weekend? Like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, chill out with my main man, Jesus, you know, just have something to drink, you know, either water or wine, depends on what he's in the mood for. But I don't really like wine, so I don't think I'd like the conversation too much if he had a wine day, so that's why he's in D tier. Now in C tier, we got Shaka Zulu. He's all by himself in this tier. I thought he deserved some respect, and he could come over, but I wouldn't specifically like go to him. Now in the B tier, we got quite a lot of people. The highest in B tier is this dude whose name I always forget. Let's actually just look that up right now. There we go. What's his name? Joseph Morgan. There we go. Joseph Morgan. Oh, we got another. We got two Josephs. Nice. You know, I'd like to talk to him, but he's still alive, so you know that's why he's not on top. You know, that does put you at a disadvantage being alive in like more ways than one. But yeah, I just think he'd. I've just wanted to talk to him about the shows he's done that I've watched and other things he's done. Now, who else is in B tier? In B tier, we also have Winston Churchill. Why is he in B tier? Well, a lot of people credit him for more than he did. I mean, like, sure, he like single-handedly raised the morale of the British, who then defeated like some other dude in this list. Together with some help of like some friends or something. I don't know the whole story. It's like not that important. But talking about like more important historical events, you know, Gary Gygax, you know, the creator of D&D, I'd love to talk with him, and he's actually in A tier. Pranked you. No, but in B tier we also have Wibble Ockels. For people who don't know, you know, he's done quite a bit. He's an astronaut, and he's dead, which gives him an advantage. And he's done like a lot for environmental awareness after he's like the guy from like a vulnerable blue orb that we live on, you know, the vulnerable blue rock. What's his quote? Let's actually look it up. Quote. Okay, yeah. Okay, apparently he did not say that. Never mind them. But you know, still, he did a lot of things. I think. What do astronauts do on like a daily basis? That's interesting to think about. Okay, either way, next up in B tier we got my main man Einstein. Whilst I'd like to talk to him, just to like see what he's like, I'm not really like have any topics to discuss with him. Basically, I just wouldn't find it too interesting to talk with him. I'd be like, okay, well, Einstein, like, good job on like nuclear weapons. Really appreciate it. And then I'd probably tell him what's gonna happen afterwards, and he's gonna probably be like, oh yeah, I fucking theorized that. I'm that. Like, okay, yeah, thank you. Now, unpopular opinion, David Schwimmer. You know, the actor of Ross on Friends. My favorite character on that show, of one of my most watched shows, because I always watched him in like summer vacation for like 4 weeks straight. Now, I would love to sit down with this guy, have a little chat with him. You know, just see what he's like in real life. Now, who else? Well, we cannot have A tier without the A tier, Adolf Hitler. Boy, would that be an interesting conversation. You know, just how I would imagine that to go down. I would imagine like you just walk into this like random pub somewhere, and you just see this guy sitting there, and you just go order your drink. You look to your right, and boom, there he sits. He looks at you. You look back at him. You know, you're thinking like, is that the guy? You know, is that him? And he looks at you like, do I know you? And because you're staring at him, you know. And then you just be like, oh, hey, you might get this a lot, but, you know, you really look like that Adolf guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, that's because I'm him. And you're like, oh, wow. You know, did not expect you to find you here. And he's like, yeah, you know, just still a normal person, you know. Don't let the fame get to my head and anything. And you're going to be like, yeah. And you're going to be like, he's quite a down-to-earth guy, you know. And then you can just talk about, like, literally anything. Like, why did he want that glass of juice so bad? I mean, what was his reasoning behind that? So, yeah, I think it would be an interesting conversation to have, because I really want to know what was so important about that fucking glass. Either way, next up, we got another one, Albert Hoffman. Place him right there. This is the guy from Bicycle Day. Like, for the people who don't know, first person who did LSD, who done did it. You know, just interesting. I would like to hear the story from him. That's probably what we talk about. You know, talk about his research a little bit. And yeah, that's it for A tier. Now S tier. we got my main man, Kit Harington. Let's start off with him. Why would I talk to Kit Harington, and why is he so high on the list? Well, first of all, I really just want to talk to him to touch that fucking hair. I'm hashtag no homo, I'm not gonna lie. Like, damn. So, but that's not the main reason, don't worry. I also want to talk to him about last season of Game of Thrones. I got some stuff to settle. And I want to, like, get him up in gear for, like, a reshoot with just him. You know, he just plays all the characters. I might play Tyrion or something, because... Oh, no, wait, he's smaller, shit. Then I might play the Mountain, because I'm bigger. But he'd do the rest of the characters. Damn. He'd do the rest of the characters, basically. Now, other people in S tier. Well, you know, of course we have Stalin in S tier. Now, why Stalin above Adolf Hitler? Well, his kill count is higher, so that's more interesting. But mostly also because communism, like, I can't understand fascism and nationalism, you know, I can understand that, but I just can't understand communism. So I'd like to have a chat with him. I'd like to see how much of a communist he really is and how much he just did it, you know, for power. So yeah, I just think that would be interesting. Then we have Charles, because that's an S as well. His theory of evolution, I'm just interested to see. You know, how did he come up with that? You know, how was his, like, trip? Like, dude, like, that was a long ass vacation / workation, I guess. I just like to know. I just talk to him about, like, I'd also like to know his opinion about Pokemon. I think that'd be awesome, to talk with Charles Darwin about Pokemon. He'd probably get mad that the word evolution is used, but I think he would be pretty chill about it. So that's why I put him in S tier, otherwise he would be in A tier if he wasn't chill about Pokemon. Now the last person in S tier is gonna be Catherine the Great. Now for the people who don't know, she was a, like, daughter of, like, this Germanic nobleman in, like... When did she live? Let's see. Okay, so, like, the 18th century. And basically, she was, like, supposed to be wed to, like, this Prussian guy or something, or at least another Germanic prince. But then all of a sudden, like, the dude from Russia was like, "Yo, let me hit that." So she went to Russia, you know, and she was, like, quite like a low noble. And, you know, really was like Marjorie Tyrell in Game of Thrones, you know, like being there for the people, and put that in quotation marks. So I think she'd be interesting to talk to, because she has really had a lot, like, a life with, like, a lot of interesting events that you could, like, discuss. Also, it's, like, still quite recent. I mean, like, 18th century, you know, like mid 18th century, so that's like 200 something years ago. You know, I think that'd be interesting. Just to see also what that's like. Because, like, Russia right now is just such a... Well, it's a foreign land, of course. It's also just such a foreign concept to, like, the rest of the world, basically. Because it's so different. And at that time, it wasn't that much different. You know, aside from the religion and, like, the murder and the genocide and, you know, stuff like that. But every country did, like, a little bit of genocide every now and again. I mean, that's how you keep, you know, the people happy. But yeah, enough about Catherine the Great. Now we're gonna go to the man I would single-handedly jerk off just to get the opportunity to talk to him. My man, Otto von Bismarck. Oh my god, I love this guy. This guy was so amazing. Like, so honestly, I'm just gonna pull up his Wikipedia real quick. He had this, like, fucking newspaper in which he criticized, like, so many people. Like, look at that stash. Like, holy shit. So, and look how fucking handsome he was during his youth. Like, damn. Like, even, like, dude, like, this is, like, around 1860, and he was born in, like, when was he born? When were you born, dude? Oh, here we go. In 1850. So he was, like, nearly 50 here. Like, dude, that's pretty good for 50. And this was, like, 10 years later. So here he was about 60. And then, like, the picture you see up there is, like, I think one of his last pictures taken. Either way, he is, like, single-handedly responsible for creating, like, the German Reich pre-World War I. he like completely finessed the Austrian-Hungarian Empire to like break a treaty to make the rest of the Germanic tribes, like Germanic kingdoms of the time, stand behind Prussia instead of like the Habsburg family. Basically screwed over the Habsburgs with that. They were like dominating Europe, and he just like, how about no? And he just took everything basically. He just built this giant powerhouse in the center of Europe. Because usually, like before this, I'll show you here. Look, Europe before Bismarck. Let's see. Look, so this was like Germany before Bismarck happened. Now, this was Prussia. Like, I think you should, yeah, you should take this line away. So like this part was Prussia. Well, this wasn't Prussia, but this part was Prussia. Sorry. And you know, Bismarck came in. He was like, okay, now this is Prussia. Thank you very much. And all of these other kingdoms that were like still, because that was like happening here in like in this area where you see like this little border. They weren't supposed to cross that or some shit, and you know, he was just like Austrian-Hungarians, like he basically was like taunting them, and then they went over and then was like, okay, thank you, this is ours now. And you know, he just united Germany because there were like two sides. There was like uniting Germany under Prussia or uniting Germany under the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And you know, it ended up being Prussia, which basically created the borders before World War One. And I do think, like, actually, if they were united under Austria-Hungary, because Austria-Hungary was like gigantic. Here, look at this. Austria-Hungary. There we go. Like, they owned like the Balkan area basically, because they had like pretty good influence over this area as well. Let's see, at its peak, yeah, it was just they had like almost cut from like sea to sea there. So yeah, this was like 14 years before Bismarck was born. But like if they had, because if they united Germany, they would have had this entire block to work with. And I think they would have like definitely been able to beat up, you know, the Triple Entente in the First World War. But then again, Bismarck was so against for the First World War. He was like, you're gonna lose that shit. And the emperor at the time, when Bismarck was like still doing stuff, basically, was like Karl Franz the First or something like, and then his son, same name, but then the second came to power, and he did not like Bismarck. He was like threatened by him because he was an idiot, to be honest. Like, his dad was like pretty dumb, but smart enough to know that Bismarck was right. But he was an actual idiot. He was like, I can't stand this guy at my court, even though he's right. And you know, like, so Bismarck was like, okay, fine, I quit, before he could like fire him. And he went home and he wrote in like his personal newspaper. He had like an own newspaper that was read by like a lot of people. And he was just like fucking judging the emperor like every single time. And like right before like Bismarck died, like a couple of years before, the dumb emperor came begging back to him to like join him. He's like, yeah, no. Like the Squidward meme, like, this was basically his reaction. Where is it? It's where he's like, no. Where he's like very slow talking, that one. I don't know. Either way, you know, I just think he'd be amazing to talk to. He just has so much to say all the time. So just a quick rundown from top to bottom. Otto von Bismarck, hell fucking yeah. Then Charles Darwin, Joseph Stalin, Catherine the Great, Kit Harington, Adolf Hitler, Albert Hoffman, Gary Gygax, David Schwimmer, Joseph Morgan, there we go, Winston Churchill, Wilbur Ockels, Einstein, or Albert Einstein if you prefer, Shaka Zulu, Julius Caesar, Abraham Lincoln, Jesus, Freddie Mercury, and last and least, my parents. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy.